Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today I have an exclusive interview. These guys are making waves right now in the filmmaking community. I have Ash Hamilton and Steven Taylor. They have a brand new streaming app called Scareplex. It's out right now, and it's putting more money into filmmakers' pockets. Hey, guys, how's it going today?
Good.
Doing great. Thanks for having us on.
Good, good. Thanks for coming on. So, tell us a little bit about Scareplex.
Well, I'll just take over the whole conversation,
Yeah, it
Stephen,
works.
if you don't mind.
Yeah. He's the talker, so.
So
Okay.
I'm in. Okay, we just got to interrupt everything because my wife needs to tell me something.
No problem.
Correct.
Tell her that Bill's got tons of pictures for that prop. I sent him pictures of absolutely the way it should look with all the colors. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
You're
So
fine.
very
Happy wife, happy life.
Move stuff that. So, anyways, so I've been in one way or another sort of associated with indie filmmaking and specifically horror for like a few years, probably more than a few years. Originally, I was hosting a site called horrorfix.com. A lot of interviews, a lot of reviews. So it's mainly a horror entertainment site. And as I was doing this, I had always had ambitions to do film as well. So the more that I ran the site, the more that I talked about film, the more I thought about film, the more I decided, I think I'm ready. I want to do something. So I started writing some film. I had a couple scripts. I had one that gained some traction right before COVID hit. So we were all set to go. We had schedules. We had our investors lined up. And then COVID hit. And at that point in time, like it was just sort of the, sort of like the outskirts. We hadn't really got in too deep as to what people were going to do about it, specifically what people in film were going to do about it. And what ended up happening is that it just imploded, and what it forced me to do, and, a couple of the other people involved, was to say, okay, how do we take this model of filmmaking and adjust it so that we're not so reliant on, bigger investors. We're not so, reliant on the rigidity or the inflexibility of what happens when you bring other people's money on board. So instead of writing something that costs a lot of money, I said, hey, I'm going to write something that costs no money. And we'll see if we can't film it and what will happen. So I ended up writing and directing this movie called Holes in the Sky, and we put it on the festival circuit, and it did really well, to the point where we started to rack up some awards, and then it did so well that we ended up actually beating out the Blair Witch Project for the most awarded found footage film.
Wow.
Which was crazy because that really our expectation was just proof of concept. Let's see if we can make a movie for nothing and see if we have interest in it. And then it sort of went a little bit further than we expected it to. But the distribution process, things of that nature, even though I knew a lot of people in the industry, I had not gone through it firsthand. So I didn't have a lot of very personal experiences with that yet. And sort of going through the pains of it and then realizing what's waiting for you coming out the other side led me to sort of rethink, the models that we're using now in the streaming era and how they're totally broken. They're just broken across the board. We've got filmmakers, especially indie filmmakers, who might only be spending $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 on a project. You should be able to recoup that. If you've got any kind of distribution, you should be able to recoup a $5,000 or $10,000 investment. And you've still got people who are only bringing home 8.5% of their revenue. So you can have an $8,000 movie that makes 50 grand And immediately the streaming platforms take 50%. So just across the board, your 50 grand, and let's go ahead and take taxes out too. So your 50 grand translates to, let's say on the high end, 42.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got 42 grand now for an $8,000 investment. That sounds fantastic. I made $42,000 off of my $8,000, but instantly troubles occur, and the first trouble that happens to occur is the streaming platform's model, which is, and it's one that I've always found like a little arrogant, which is like, you should be so lucky that you've been accepted to be streamed by us. So that luck also comes with a price tag of 50% of your earnings. So that $42,000 is now $21,000. And let's be honest, that's horrible. That's horrible, because they are making a ton of money off of having updated slates of new content. That's what gives them new subscribers. That's what gives them the ability to keep current subscribers, is producing slates of new content. So if you're a participant in that, you are making them considerable amount of money, and not just off of your film. It's a model that it's a domino effect. So now you've got $21,000. Now, usually a distributor also takes 50%. So now your $21,000 is 10.5. It happened that quickly. Just by saying yes to a contract, your $50,000 is now $10,500. Now, usually you've got a little bit of money from somewhere else. It could be a producer. If your movie's doing fairly well in the festival circuit, you might even get a broker, and your broker might come up and say, "Hey, listen, I can try to get you the best deal, but I'm going to take 15%, off of what you end up netting." So now that 10.5, let's say, between paying producers back and paying a broker back and everything, now you're losing another 30%. So
now you're in red.
Yeah. And what ends up happening is that you've made a successful movie. The movie itself is in the black. It's making money,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not. In fact, almost everybody involved, for their effort and their services, are making money. They're making money based off of their commitment, but the filmmaker is not. And that's a filmmaker who hasn't actually paid actors yet. So that's a filmmaker, for the most part, that, it would be lovely if you made an $8,000-$10,000 movie, $15,000-$20,000 movie, and were able to come back, because let's face it, a lot of small films are made through the kindness of strangers, friends, and family. So a lot of people are friends that come over, they'll act in the movie for you. You might have a buddy who does sound, or a guy who's a fairly decent editor, and they'll all sort of come together. But it's very rare for an $8,000 movie for everyone, or sometimes anyone, to get paid that worked on it. Mm-hmm. So now you've got this very small amount of money. And it's a huge disservice to creators. And, even taking out that element. So let's say we just take out the element where we even really care. Let's just take out the element where nobody's feelings get hurt, and we're all just like, it was fantastic, I was able to get my product out there. What it means, though, for the industry is that it's a non-sustainable model, because we're not putting enough back into the filmmaker's pocket to make another project. And that's really where we're failing over a period of time, is that there will come a time, which obviously we've seen currently, where filmmakers, actors, content creators in general look at it and go, I can exist off of this. This doesn't work. It's not sustainable. I can't make money off of this feature and then be expected to make another feature. I'll make one feature and now my career is over, because I can't raise another $10,000 to $15,000. And it's difficult to try to raise money when you have to look at somebody and go, you'll probably never make your investment back. And a lot of indie filmmakers, unfortunately, have to look, at fundraising as you may never make anything back off of this because the model's so broken. I know I'm rambling on, and I
I do
apologize.
have a question. Do you
Yeah.
think that also affects the overall quality of films that are being made?
Oh, most
Yeah,
certainly.
without a doubt.
I mean, we see it on very small scales, because we're seeing people that are making a feature film, bar none, is a grueling experience. It's an exercise in panic attacks and anxiety and this weird kind of management that you never thought you'd have to do. Because when we think about movies, it's fun, and I'm not saying that it takes all the fun out of it. It doesn't. It's still a fantastic experience, and one that I wouldn't give away for anything. But when you're footing the bill and when you're doing everything by yourself, it's an endeavor. It's a huge undertaking. And
There's so
when
much that can go wrong as well during the process.
and yeah, and the question that I just got asked, that my wife actually came in, was just about a prop that we've been trying to get made. And it seems like it's just hurdle after hurdle after hurdle for something as simple as one prop. And that can happen a lot. It would be fantastic if indie filmmakers had that ability to, contact talent that's Hollywood, caliber talent, and go, hey, here's your $12,000, get this by next Tuesday. But we're also working with talent that, even they might be talented, they're in the same positions that we are, which is they're probably working a 40+ hour job, hour job a week. They're probably dealing with spending time with their family, home life, etc. And when it's a career, but it's sort of a career that you have to make room for,
Yeah.
because you've got so much else going on. Yeah, the quality is going to suffer. You're going to cut a lot of corners. You're going to deal with deadlines for festivals, with deadlines for premieres and stuff, that you don't have that multi-million-dollar support system. And again, a lot of it is having a support system that is reliance on the kindness of strangers.
I mean, I have even noticed myself. I'm a big film watcher. I wish I had the balls to make a movie. I mean, I give props to you guys, but if you've noticed in the streaming area, there's a lot of hidden gems out there, but it's cluttered with a lot of bad quality as well.
Oh
It
yeah,
seems like it's all about quantity instead of quality.
yeah. And you get a lot of guilt by association that occurs there too.
Yeah,
If you produce a film of a specific genre that comes out at the same time, where you've got 10 competing films, it's very likely that if a lot of those competing films are ultra low budget films, that just because even if it's just a pocket of too much saturation, and that saturation is of low quality, people will pass your film over, just simply guilt by association too.
and that's something that I'm a huge found footage fan, and that's something for quite a few years that was happening, and now there's an influx, especially with the indie found footage. You start to see more quality, and it's having an upsurge, which I'm happy for.
You've got some really strong filmmakers out there
Hmm.
that are recognizing, especially found footage, as being a subgenre that allows them to make quality movies cheaper.
Yes.
Some of the restrictions aren't necessarily there, and it forces them to be creative in some of the best ways. Traditional cinematic storytelling can be very rigid and very limiting in a lot of ways, and found footage. My first film was a found footage mockumentary, and being able to do that was both challenging, but there was a ton of freedom, because you could say, okay, we can use an iPhone here. We can do this here. We can do that here. We can make it work to our advantage. And I think that there aren't a lot of subgenres that allow that much freedom and the ability to sort of be whimsy and play with the hardware as much as found footage does.
I agree. I agree. Now, I had a chance to actually take a look at the app. App is absolutely amazing, and there was tons of content. Now, how many? I didn't get a chance to see. Now, how many videos are right now currently on the app?
I think we're approaching close to
300.
300.
Yeah, right about
300.
300.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So
And
tell us. I'm sorry. Good.
oh no, you're gonna find a mix of a lot of stuff in there. We've got stuff ranging from turn of the century stuff, stuff of the 60s like Carnival of Souls, stuff of the 70s TV movies like Gargoyles, all the way up to a pretty large cast of films made late 90s all the way up to about 2023. So
Yeah.
we were very fortunate in that since I ran a site for years, I was in the industry in certain capacities. I know a lot of distributors that I was more than happy to promote their films for no advertising fee for a number of years, which comes in handy when you approach them and go, "Hey, how's it going? Remember all these movies that I promoted for you for free? I would love some of your films if you could make that happen for us." And we've been surrounded by a lot of good people and a lot of people who even distributors are recognizing the challenges in streaming. They're not getting paid what they used to. When we used to adhere to the Blockbuster model, God, you get paid per unit per store. And distributors are making quite a bit of money, and filmmakers are making quite a bit of money. But even distributors are recognizing that the model is broken because they're making less money, and they're trying to pull in more projects and more films, and they're trying to get these bigger slates. And we're talking about quality, like their quality control checks sort of have to be a lot more flexible than they used to be because it's all volume. It's all volume for them. So yeah, we've got some good stuff, but we continuously get good stuff. I think just over the weekend alone, we added 10 more films. And I know that we've got right now an entire paranormal series that's not available anywhere else, a Monster Vision TV, which is led by two paranormal investigators, Rick Hale and Stephen Lancaster. We've got that series that nobody has. We've got Stephen Lancaster's feature documentary, Phantom or Phantome, pronunciation, that nobody else has. We will be getting a director's cut of Human Hibachi from Mario Cerrito.
Nice.
As well as the first and second films, and a prequel that he's filmed. We're adding Bill Howard, Something Walks in the Woods tonight. And Bill Howard also has an upcoming series called Encounters, which is a docu-series about alien abductees and the interviews that he has had with these alleged abductees. And that'll be a first run series that will also have, on Scareplex. So luckily we're accruing more and more content. Just being able to approach filmmakers and approach distributors and say, we don't need 50%. We're a small venture that's growing rapidly, but I don't need $200 million a year. I mean, and these are what these CEOs are getting paid. Netflix CEOs, $208 million a year. I mean, can I swear? Or is that?
No, you're good. This is
swearing's fine?
Swear is fine, perfectly fine.
What the fuck do you do with $208 million a year?
Have a great fucking time.
I mean, like, are you buying people? Like, I just can't imagine.
I can have a great time with way
time.
I had a great time with $28. I'm saying, but looking at that kind of money, that's tinfoil hat globalist kind of shit. When you're looking at $208 million, I mean, I'm a t-shirt and burger guy. You know, I think 1 year of $208 million, and I probably look at myself and go, who the fuck have I become? Like, I don't know if it would even be a good thing for me to have that kind of money. You know,
I made $1 million a year, I would shit my pants. So I wouldn't even know what to do.
I'd just be
That's too
thinking
much.
I'd be thinking of causes to give it to. I mean, $208 million a year. I want to cure something. I want to have my name on some kind of vaccine or something.
Right.
Like, I'll fund something for $208 million a year. You know, but we're looking at, you know, institutions like that. We're looking at Netflix that's canceling shows based on budget.
Great shows too.
But yet one man in that company makes $208 million a year. Like, we're in a weird spot in this country, man. Like, we're in a weird spot where, like, and I'm all for, like, capitalism, don't get me wrong. But at some point, wow, $208 million a year, like $208 million a year. Come on. I'm gonna make my own Star Wars movie. Give me $208 million a year. You know, but
I'll make it for half.
I could probably make a decent one for 20 grand, for God's sakes, you gave it
Right.
to me. But yeah, like, and that's kind of, I think, maybe why what we're doing is sort of resonating so much, is because I'm not, of course you have to make money for overhead, you have to make, you know, some kind of money to pay for the service and then to expand it. But, you know, we're working on an 80/20 model. It's 80% the filmmakers, and I don't want to change that. They should get 80%. I can
80%.
It's 80/20, and that's across the board. If they want to do TVOD with us and set a $9.95 rental price, they're going to get 80%. If they do strictly AVOD, 80%.
Yep.
It's 80% across the board.
Wow.
The only thing that
That's amazing.
really looking to make money off of is the SVOD prices. You know, so we're aggregating all this content, and what we're saying is and we've got a hybrid model. I mean, this is, you know, people who watch Amazon, this is nothing unfamiliar. You go on a Scareplex and you register free. Anything from 1969 under is free.
Yeah.
Anything from 1969 under, which there's a ton of content right now, by the way, that we have that in the horror and sci-fi genres for those decades. Then anything 1970 or over is part of the subscription model. We have the cheapest subscription model because it's $3.95. It's $3 and change for everything. And then if we get like first run movies, if the filmmaker comes to us and says, hey, I want my movie to be available for rental, they name the price, we put it up, and it's still just 20%.
That's something that's important to us too, is we want to make sure that the filmmaker's actually involved in, you know, what happens with their film. It's one of those. We're trying to kind of cross-pollinate a little bit as well with the genres that we chose to put on, because a lot of we're fans as well. So, you know, fans like those genres, and they seem to like those genres together.
Well, and we kind of want to do the opposite of what the industry is currently doing. What the industry is taking genres and they're parsing them out.
Yes.
So that, you know, if you get a History Channel or TLC streaming package, they tend to sort of parse that stuff out. So they want you to get the paranormal stuff with one subscription price, and then what would be their primetime stuff with another subscription price. And then if they've got true crime or full-length documentaries, well, that's another subscription price. So, you know, now you're paying $4.95 spread out over 5 different apps.
Yep.
And now it's like, wow, that's a $25 price tag. And with us, like, I want to take them and put them together because I know that people like those things. And it's like, well, let's do the opposite and do a one-stop shop where they come here and they say, well, I really like the paranormal stuff. I'm a big horror fan. Well, then look at our paranormal stuff. Vice versa, true crime, whatever. I mean, we've got, you know, and we haven't even announced this yet. So this will be the first time we've actually talked about it. But
right.
Bundy File E.J. Hammond is working on a 10-part series for us That'll be an exclusive Ted Bundy retrospect. So we'll have some interesting true crime stuff that's happening on there too, because especially when you go to conventions and stuff, what Steve was talking about with cross-pollination, it's so evident. A lot of us are interested in these same things. You go to a convention, you start talking about horror films, then pretty soon someone's going to start talking about some weird video or ghost-related video or something, because the two, again, it's sort of an incestuous industry with a lot of those concepts. And we just wanted to say, well, wouldn't it be cool if you didn't have to buy 5 different apps? You just buy the one subscription, and then we just keep adding to it. So yeah, in a bit of a nutshell, like that's kind of what we're wanting to do, is we're wanting to give people that one-stop shop experience. It's a really low sub price, a really low, free price for some of the older stuff. And, if we keep adding stuff, hopefully then our numbers will be, in those Screenbox Shutter numbers where people know that they've got 500 titles that they can browse. And I don't really feel like we need to do anything with our pricing structure. I want the filmmakers to take the 80% because I want them to make more content. If they make more content, it works out for everyone. They make more content, we have the ability to license some of that content off of them. We have stronger relationships with them because, we feel almost like a producer capacity where we're saying, hey, reinvest this, make more movies for yourself and for us, and for the fans.
Now, are you approaching filmmakers, or are filmmakers approaching you as well? How is that working right now?
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
A little both?
Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit of both. And we've had some really good responses. Luckily, again, from being in the industry, we have some really great personal relationships with filmmakers and who are understanding, what we're doing, and they're understanding it because they went through the same pains, the same processes. And then we've got filmmakers, some of them, they're just like, I don't want to go through that process. Can you guys help me out? And we're like, we would definitely love to help you out because nobody should have to go through that process. So yeah, so we've got, both sides of the fence. We've got people sort of meeting us in the middle.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm in a lot of the horror groups, and Friends with Heart. Pretty sure you guys know him, and he's been talking great about you guys. And
I love Heart. In fact, I'm supposed to go down and spend a day or something with Heart, and I feel bad. I've been so busy because hanging out with Heart is a great time.
Well, I have an interview with him coming up this weekend. It's the most interview you've ever seen in your life.
Hart is a ton of fun. That guy is a ton of fun.
Tons of fun.
Yeah, good to be friends with Hart. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's out there promoting, and there's a lot of guys in horror that promoting you guys. I was like, I had to get these guys on my channel because it looks like they're doing something amazing. I've heard it nothing but, I've been doing the interview portion with indie horrors for the last 2 months or so. And I've heard the horror stories, the challenges, especially a brand new filmmaker. You don't know where to go, and there's a lot of sharks in the water, and they take advantage.
It's weird. It's really strange. I hear a lot of stuff about, again, percentages. I will say that the lack of transparency and the lack of reporting in streaming and how it bleeds over to distribution is fucking shameful. It's bad. If you've spent a year and a half promoting this thing that it took you half a year to make or longer, you'd like to know how many minutes are being watched here, what the bounce rate is, when are people sort of self-ejecting from the experience, all this stuff. And you've got people that sometimes get just 2 lines of reporting, physical, electronic, and it should not be that way. It should not be that way at all. Because we're giving something to these people and saying, hey, help us curate this experience, help us be a part of it. And to me, there's a huge obligation there. There's an obligation to carry the filmmaker as far as you possibly can with your own resources. And again, make sure that the experience is one where they come back with another film that might be a bigger film that could make everybody more money. But it's not working out that way. You've got distributors that, tell you they're going to give you a $35,000 cap on advertising. And then you're sitting there going, where's the advertising? Where's the advertising? Who are you advertising with? And again, there's just this general lack of transparency. It's hard to feel represented. It is. You just feel like you sort of get thrown in the mix, and then it's a fight. Like, you just don't. As an indie filmmaker, everything you do has an amount of fight to it. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything is like, half the time you got to have the claws out, because it's like you got to, get this made. And there are people, again, that will, take advantage of the fact that you're not with a major studio. So there's all this fight, and it's like, God, it's a big enough industry. We don't have to constantly be fighting for this stuff. There should be a lot more support. There should be a lot. There should be more holding hands. There should be more mentoring. There should be all of the stuff. And instead, it's like you come into, you don't want to feel backstabbed, and you don't want to feel, taken advantage of. But it's easy. It's easy to feel that way. And I feel for, I think, about every, indie filmmaker that's went through the process, and they come out the other side, and they're just like, what happened? It's like, what happened? Where's the money? Where's it going? And, we make the films because we love film, but, we have to be realists in the sense that all this stuff costs money.
It does.
And if that money's not being reciprocated, that's a problem. Especially when you're making somebody money. I mean, when you, and this infuriates a lot of people, by the way. So of course I want to talk about it. Like when you're a filmmaker and you turn on Tubi for like a month, and you're not signed in, you've got your cash cleared, you're making sure that you're basically seeing this from like a new user algorithm, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're not participating in gathering that information. This is what they're presenting to like a new user. And you see your film coming up in like the top 10 in multiple categories for months. And then you get your paycheck and you're like, what? How in the world, with a platform like Tubi, how is my film being so visible and I'm not making any money off of it? That makes, with a platform that has tens of thousands of movies, how does that make sense? It doesn't. It doesn't make sense. It would be the same as turning on HBO or a cable channel and seeing your film on Maximum Rotation. Now, I don't know how old you are, but I'm an 80s kid.
I'm an 80s kid as well, 40. Yep.
Yeah. I'm older than everybody. I'm even older by this
Only by
fucking guy by like a week. So any child of the 80s realized that at some point in time, HBO played two movies, and one of those was Real Genius with Val Kilmer. No matter how many times you turned on HBO, Real Genius was on Val Kilmer. So it would be like if you made Real Genius, right? And you just turned on HBO and you're like, God, there's my movie. They're playing that Tears for Fears song again. It's like, that it's your movie. And then at the end of the month, they're like, yeah, we're sorry, buddy. You just didn't really make much this month. And you're sitting there going, how? Every time I turned HBO on, Real Genius was on. And I feel like a lot of indie filmmakers we're feeling that way, because we're going on all of these platforms and we're seeing our movie. We're seeing it under featured. We're seeing it under, recommended. We're looking at, star meters on IMDb, and we're like, how are so many people watching this? And yet I'm not making any money. It doesn't make any sense. And And I think that a lot of us are experiencing that. We're experiencing people going, oh, hey, I turned over to Tubi on Super Bowl Sunday, and your movie was a featured movie. And it's like, that's great. If only they'd repriced the extra value meals, I'd probably have a little more worth and value in what I do, because nobody knows why these films are so visible yet are making any money. And I think the answer is they are making money. These films are definitely making money. We're just not getting paid. And with zero transparency, and I mean, what are we going to do? You're going to hire a lawyer to go up against Tubi? Good luck, because then you're faced with two decisions. One, do I want to be a filmmaker? Which, if so, I'm going to have to drop this because it's too time consuming. Or two, do I just want to sue Tubi for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
That's the choice that you're left with. And because a lot of us, we don't have the resources to go up against some kind of entertainment juggernaut. We got to take a step back and go, I guess I want to live my life. I guess I don't want to live the rest of my life suing Tubi.
So what I don't understand is, so there's a lot of filmmakers on Tubi, and they are pumping out 3 movies a year. How are they making any money?
They aren't.
They are. Yeah.
I think
that's pretty much the answer.
I think that's the simple answer, because I know a few of these guys, who are very prolific. Like I take forever, by the way, to make anything. And that's not saying good or bad. I'm not saying that anything I have has more quality. I'm just slower. But I know these.
But they say that they're making money. But they say that they're making money, and I'm like, but everybody else is saying that they're not making any money. So how is that possible?
Well, I think that they're making money. I just don't think it's substantial.
Okay.
And I think,
or what it should be.
I mean, because let's face it, if you get a $3,000 check, all of a sudden you're like, woohoo, $3,000, and that's sort of scalable per experience. But in the end, it still doesn't translate. In the end, it's still next to nothing for what it made. And I mean, with our economy, trying to make a film and then, trying to eat and survive, $3,000 does not stretch very far anymore.
Yeah.
So I think the idea of making any money sometimes, does sort of become the consolation prize. It's like you look at a check and you're like, oh shit, at least I made money. But these guys aren't getting rich, and 9 out of 10 of them still have a 40-hour week.
Full-time job. Yeah.
And that really shouldn't be the case.
No.
If you can get an entry-level office job that pays enough for that to be your primary source of income, if you have a movie that's featured on Tubi, that should be your 40-hour week office job. You should be sustaining enough to tide you over to your next film.
I agree. So I talk to a lot of directors and filmmakers from the UK. Is Scareplex something that's going to be offered to filmmakers in the UK?
I want to so bad, and there are so many obstacles in having a US based entertainment platform and being able to offer content in the UK.
We have been looking into it, but there is some extra steps that have to be taken.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. And it's just, again, like, God, I hate to be like a broken record here, but it's just like the greed across the board. It's like, and then when you're trying to pay 2 countries, it's like, now we're in trouble. It's like, and then you better, it's like you better be making a lot of money to be able, and we want to, Like we want to be able, because we do get a lot of people that ask us, they'll be like, is this in the UK yet? And I'm like, we want to so bad. So bad. But a lot of it is UK versus US rights on films sometimes are just worlds apart.
A lot of red tape.
Yeah, and sometimes you're dealing with different distributors altogether, because a lot of distributors are just national, not international. And then some of these movies have been paired with national distribution than global. So sometimes you're dealing with multiple companies trying to get it in more than one country.
Okay. All right. So I'm a brand new filmmaker. I have a project. I want to get it distributed or onto Scareplex. What did I do?
Just reach out to us.
Yep.
You know, just I'm fairly visible. Horror Fix, our site as a brand, is pretty visible. All you really got to do is just email us or DM us or whatever, and just say, hey, I got a movie. Would love for you to take a look at it. And more than likely, we'll be like, fantastic. We'd love to see your movie.
Yep.
Please let us take a look at it, and we'll make something work. So yeah, we're trying to make it that easy. You know, not that we want to supplant distributors, because distributors are being very kind to us right now. But, you know, we do understand that there are some films that might want to come to us unsolicited to see what they can make minus a distributor. And we're actually all for that too. You know, if it's something where you want to set your own prices, get with us and we'll try to work something out.
Awesome. Now, where can everyone find you?
Oh, geez. He's the one that's difficult.
Yeah, it is. So, on Facebook, I'm
witness
Ricky
protection
Farrell.
thing he's got going on.
Yeah, RIKIFERR.
It's not even his real beard.
It's
I know.
not even his beard, it's his fake. But you can, I mean, you know, you can email us at Scareplex what's the
Ash at scareplex.com.
Ash at Scareplex and Steven
or
at Scareplex.
Steven.
Steven with a PH.
PH
So,
fancy.
fancy, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's Facebook. We're on Twitter.
Yeah, Horror Fix on Twitter is real easy.
Yep.
Horror Fix on Facebook's real easy. Horrorfix.com is real easy. We've got a multitude of places to get a hold of us. But you can even search Ash
Facebook.
Hamilton on Facebook.
Yep.
Admittedly, I do have 5,000 friends on there, even though some of them drop off. But I will still check those messages that squeeze.
You check mine. Yes.
I will still check the messages that squeeze through. So no, yeah, definitely. In any way that you can get a hold of us, get a hold of us.
Awesome. And also too, definitely check out the app. I mean, there's tons of great stuff on there. 300 videos, which is amazing.
Yeah, and counting.
And counting.
Yeah, and again, we've got 2 original films, Scareplex original films, over the next 2 months.
Yeah.
That will be released too. So in addition to having some first run films from Filmmakers, there'll be films that also have the Scareplex brand on them that we're sort of coming in and serving as producers on.
Sweet. Well, guys, thank you for coming on. I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure. I wish you guys nothing but luck in your adventure. I mean,
I just like getting angry. I just like coming onto a show and get my blood pressure up.
Just go her and it's nice to just drop the F-bomb every once in a while, right?
You gotta be. Sometimes you gotta be the fucking voice of the people.
Yeah,
exactly. Let's say it together on 3. 1, 2, 3. Fuck. Oh. Well, guys, thanks for coming on.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate it.
No problem. Guys, please check them out. All right. Thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce. I'm going to see you guys next time. Take care.